there's something no one has told you. And the angels asked me to tell you today. This isn't a message for everyone. It's for a specific woman. A woman who has been too strong for too long. Who learned to carry without complaining, to keep going without asking, to give without expecting. And who at some point in her life internalized a dangerous idea that the return would come later. That after everything was done, after everything was given, after everything was resolved, then, and only then, would it be her turn. And here you are. Then it arrived. And it still feels like something is missing. It's not a lack of faith. It's not a lack of effort. It's not a lack of merit. But there is something between you and what should be yours. And today, the angels came to name it clearly, carefully, with the precision of those who truly see you. You have been chosen. This is not a pretty phrase. It's a real weight. Being chosen means you have received above-average abilities, the capacity to endure, to create, to sustain, to perceive what others do not. But being chosen also means that the mission you carry is not simple. And that is precisely why heaven is waiting for you. Not because you failed, but because there is still something unfinished. There is a spiritual task that needs to be completed before abundance can permanently settle into your life. It's not a punishment. It's a sequence. And the angels know you're ready to understand this now. But before we talk about that task, let me ask you something. Do you remember the last time you allowed yourself to receive without guilt? To receive no care, no attention, but to receive money, opportunity, professional recognition, material prosperity without feeling the need to justify oneself? For many women right now, the answer is hard to find. Because over the years, receiving has been conditioned on a set of circumstances that are almost impossible to meet simultaneously. Receiving when everything was stable, when others were doing well, when she didn't need anything else, when she completely deserved it, and that when never arrived perfectly. So receiving it kept getting postponed. You are not in acute distress. You are experiencing long-standing fatigue. The kind of fatigue that doesn't show up on an exam, that doesn't have a medical name, but that is present every morning when you wake up and feel that there is more weight than energy available to carry it. It's the exhaustion of someone who has worked hard and still hasn't received fair compensation. It's the weariness of someone who knows they have the ability, but feels that something invisible is blocking the results. It's the weariness of someone who has faith, but begins to wonder, silently, if faith alone is enough. And it is precisely at this point, at this silent threshold between the question and the answer, that the angels appear, not to offer empty comfort, but to tell a truth that will change the way you see everything you are experiencing now. You are chosen, and heaven awaits you. But there is an incomplete mission between you and your released blocks. Let's understand what this mission is. Angels don't work with lotteries. They work with patterns, and the pattern they identified in your life, and in the lives of women like you, has nothing to do with bad luck or divine punishment. It has to do with an emotional programming that was installed so early and so silently that you never realized it was there. Think about it. When you were a child or young adult, what did you learn about money? Not what you were taught with words, but what you absorbed from your environment, from what you saw happening, from the expressions on the faces of the people around you when the subject was money, from who had it and who didn't, from what was valued and what was discarded. For many women of her generation, money was presented as something dangerous, scarce, or morally suspect. Those who had money were greedy. Those who desired money were superficial. Those who asked for money were proud. And those who earned a lot, especially if they were women, owed explanations. Nobody said that directly, but you learned it. And this learning became established as beliefs, beliefs that turned into unconscious decisions. decisions that shaped behaviors, behaviors that created patterns, patterns that are repeated to this day. The angels clearly show these patterns, the pattern of working hard and charging little, because deep down they believe that charging more will drive people away, will seem arrogant, and will generate conflict. The pattern of accepting whatever comes, because they learned that demanding is ungrateful. The pattern of putting the financial needs of others ahead of one's own, because one has been taught that this is a virtue, when in reality, it is sometimes silent self-annihilation. The pattern of always being available to give and never knowing how to receive without discomfort. These patterns aren't weakness, they're survival strategies. They're intelligent responses to environments you didn't choose, but they no longer serve you in the present. And what served you for survival may be preventing you from living life to the fullest now. Here is the connection the angels want you to understand. Money responds to the emotional energy you project onto it. Not because it's magic, but because your beliefs about money determine your actions in relation to it. You either charge or you don't. You accept or you refuse. You move forward or you retreat. You ask or you remain silent. And these decisions accumulated over years build or block your financial reality. When a woman carries guilt about prosperity, she will unconsciously sabotage opportunities before they materialize. Not out of stupidity, not out of weakness, but because deep down she believes that being too prosperous is dangerous, that being too visible breeds envy, that being too successful is too soon. That's the problem. It's not the market. It's not the current situation. It's not the age. It lies in the emotional connection that was built around the idea of receiving. And the angels say, this relationship can be rebuilt. And this is part of the mission that heaven is waiting for you to complete. There is a spiritual lie that has been passed down from generation to generation, and it needs to be undone now. The lie that prosperity and spirituality are opposites, that those who seek God must renounce material comfort, that those who have faith should not worry about money, that desiring financial stability is a sign of attachment to the world, that devout women should live frugally and be at peace with that. This lie caused real damage, deep, silent, because she transformed the natural desire for financial dignity into a source of spiritual shame. She made good, devout, hard-working women apologize for wanting more, for needing more, for deserving more. And the angels came to undo that today, not with violence, with truth. The universe that created everything, every mountain, every ocean, every solar system, did not create you to live in scarcity. Abundance is not a spiritual transgression. It is the nature of what was created. Trees do not bear fruit with guilt. Rivers do not flow with shame. The earth does not produce by apologizing. You are part of this creation, and your prosperity is part of the plan, not an exception to it. Women chosen like you were not placed in this world to be examples of resignation. They were placed here to demonstrate that it is possible to serve with joy when one has enough, that it is possible to help generously when one is not operating at the limit, that it is possible to be a light when one is not emotionally exhausted by survival. You are no better off suffering. You serve better when you're stable. There is something the angels need you to listen to very carefully right now. Money doesn't separate you from God. Money, in the hands of a woman like you, is an instrument for good. Think about everything you could do if you had the stability you've always deserved. Think about the people you could truly help, not with the little you have left over, but with enough to make a real difference. Think about the peace your presence would bring to those you love, when you were no longer carrying the weight of constant financial worry. This is not vanity. This is a mission, and the belief that you can't thrive without guilt. That belief didn't come from God. It came from environments that benefited from your scarcity. It came from systems that function better when women like you are small. It came from voices that may have been well-intentioned, but were operating on misinformation about what it means to be spiritual. The angels don't ask you to resign yourself. They ask you to be present. Presence to recognize when an opportunity arrives. Presence to accept what is fair without diminishing it. Presence to take the next step without waiting for permission. Prosperity is not incompatible with faith. It is, in fact, an expression of it. Because believing that the universe can provide for you too, that requires faith. Believing that you deserve to receive more than you have suffered, that requires faith. Taking the step even without certainty that it will work out, that is faith in action. And that's exactly what heaven is expecting from you. The time has come to talk about what angels call an incomplete mission. Because spirituality without action is merely temporary comfort. And you didn't come here just to be comforted. You came to be transformed. An incomplete mission isn't some mystical task. It's something very concrete. It's the distance between where you are and the move that hasn't yet been made. The angels see the doors, and they see that you approached some of them and retreated. Not because you were wrong, but because, at the moment of entering, the old voice spoke louder. The voice that said, "What if it doesn't work out? What if I'm not enough? What if I ask for too much?" And you stayed outside. Today, the sky tells you, return to the door. Not with despair, with dignity. With the awareness of someone who knows they have what it takes to get through it. Repositioning yourself doesn't mean starting from scratch. You don't start from scratch. You start with decades of experience, wisdom, resilience, and accumulated real capacity. Those who start from scratch are those who haven't yet lived what you've lived. You start from a place that most people take years to reach. The movement that the angels are asking for is, first, review what is being offered and charged. If you work and charge little, this is an area that urgently needs adjustment. Not because money is everything, but because how you value yourself financially communicates to the world how much you believe in what you deliver. Increasing the value of your work is not greed. It's aligning with the reality of what you offer. Secondly, allow yourself to be seen. Women who are chosen often withdraw at the very moment they should be presenting themselves, out of fear of judgment, out of habit of not taking up space. But visibility is not vanity. It's access. When you become visible, the right opportunities can find you. When you remain invisible, they pass you by without knowing you existed. Third, accept proposals without apologizing for accepting them. If an opportunity arises, assess it carefully. And if it's a good one, accept it. Without the ritual of minimizing it, of saying you don't know if you deserve it, of asking if you're being too presumptuous. When a good door opens, the angels expect you to enter. Not to stand on the threshold asking if you have permission. Fourth, take care of your financial health as you take care of other areas of your life. Organize, plan, understand where your money is going. Make informed decisions about work and finances. Seek guidance when you need it. Don't wait for the situation to improve on its own, because angels work through your actions, not in place of them. And fifth, change what isn't working. If a way of working isn't generating fair returns, it can be changed. If a professional relationship is diminishing you, it can be ended with dignity. If a certain stance isn't attracting the right opportunities, it can be revised. Change isn't instability. It's applied spiritual intelligence. The sky doesn't block those who change. The sky accompanies those who move. Manifestation is not passivity. It never has been. The great spiritual stories of all time are stories of women and men who acted in faith, who took the step before they were sure, who stood up before they felt ready, who opened their hand before seeing what was to come. This is the mission that heaven is waiting for you to complete. Not perfection, movement, not arrived, direction, no guarantee, courage, and the angels will be with you every step of the way. You've reached the end of this message, and that's no coincidence. Of the thousands of people who could have heard these words today, you were the one who stayed, who listened until now, who let in what needed to be heard. That has meaning. The angels know that. And now, before we conclude, there's a confirmation they ask me to convey clearly. You're not late. What seems like a delay is often preparation. The years of effort without visible return were not wasted. They were the building of a foundation. No one builds on rootless ground. What you have experienced has taken deep root. And it is upon these roots that abundance will take root, not as something fragile that passes, but as something that remains. The angels also say, you are enough now, not when you get better, not when you learn more, not when you feel more secure. Enough now, with everything you have and everything you don't yet have, with your doubts and your faith, with your weariness and your strength. You are enough to receive what is yours. And there's one last thing that needs to be said about the title of this message. Chosen ones, heaven is waiting on you. Heaven is waiting for you, but not passively. Heaven is positioned, attentive, prepared to move things in favor of your life as soon as you complete your part. There are blessings that have not been released because the mission is still open. There are doors that are ready to open as soon as you stand before them with presence, not as a request, as someone who knows they have the right to be there. And today, right now, you receive confirmation that you can. I receive what is mine with dignity. I allow prosperity into my life without guilt. I trust that the movement I will make will be accompanied by heaven. These are not magic words. They are declarations of alignment. They are the inner movement that precedes the outer movement. They are the mission being completed, word by word, choice by choice, step by step. The angels see you. They see how much you've carried. They see how much you've given. They see how much you deserve what hasn't yet arrived, and they confirm that it's on its way. But more than anything, they see who you are when you're not carrying everyone else's burdens. And that woman, that version of you that exists beneath all the responsibility and all the weariness, that woman is exactly the kind of person heaven chooses to bless. Not because it's perfect, because it's real. Take care of yourself. Move. Receive. Heaven is waiting for you, and now you know what to do.